everyone, and welcome to a special version of the LTH product briefing, which features a product launch. I'm joined here today by Noah Waisberg, who obviously needs no introduction. Noah of Kira fame and now Zuva fame. Noah, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So Noah, people know you from Kira. Give us a little update. You have been working with Zuva now for over a year.
Coming on a year and a half. The Kira sale happened, closed September 1st, 2021. And as part of Kira moving over to Kira, 34 of us came over to Zuva, and so did a copy of the underlying Kira technology. So that formed Zuva. And at Zuva, we're still focused on contracts AI, but our focus is a little bit different, where Kira, I think, was the leading project-based contract review tool, especially in professional service firms, where nearly, I think it was like, when we left, I think it was 18 of the top 25 M&A firms in the world were using Kira. With Zuva, we've got a different focus. At Zuva, what we're trying to do is make it dead easy to use the world's best contracts AI. That has two parts to it. Number one, we got to keep building the world's best contracts AI. And the other part is making it dead easy. And so with making it dead easy, we try to make it really easy to become our customer, to see our software in action, to see our pricing. And this thing that we're launching is just an extension of that.
And so Zuva often comes in and plays a part within other products, for example, as part of a CLM platform or within an existing workflow as part of an automation. But it's not always the case. And you're launching a version of Zuva, but perhaps with broader applicability and to a broader demographic. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
You're completely right. There are multiple large CLM platforms, for example, or other pieces of legal tech software who've embedded our technology via sort of the API that we have. You think you're looking at the CLM's AI, but actually under the covers, it's ours, which is great for them and good for us. We really like showing people our technology in operation. And what we decided to do was we made a version of our technology that's completely free to use and is actually useful for sort of everyday contracts AI use. So for some uses, this is going to be a fully fledged piece of technology that'll allow you to run a contract through and pull information out of it and get full use out of it for free. Some people will feel like something more, and in that case, you could become a customer of ours. But for many people who try this should be good enough for them. And that's what we sought to do.
So it is a completely free, fully accessible version of Zuva.
Exactly.
Well, I'm very interested to know what those differences are. And perhaps as you take us through the platform, that would be the easiest way to explain to us where the differences lie and what is accessible to people.
I will happily show you that. So here we are on the Zuva homepage. As I mentioned, with Zuva, we're really trying to make it so that it's really easy to become our customer and see what our software does. So you come to the Zuva homepage, you come to this thing that we call the widget. What the widget enables you to do is upload a contract, pick a use case of things that you're trying to find. So the Zuva software finds out of the box 1,300 different data points in contracts. Users between Zuva and Kira have taught it 20,000 additional data points. But what we tried to do is there's almost like an overwhelming choice. And so we tried to just narrow this down to use case and include fields that people would find valuable for those particular use cases. We've got one on lease terms, another thing on things that you might care about if you're in a procurement role, thinking about supplier contract terms, another thing if you're in more of like a rev ops, customer ops, sales ops type of thing, where you're thinking about more business terms like renewal or most of customer pricing or publicity rights. One use case around finance, ops, and privacy terms, M&A diligence, a sort of classic use case that we have a ton of experience with, credit agreements and employment agreements. So you can choose what you care about in your contract. Knowing that it's a license agreement doesn't allow us to know what you need to know in it. So we did some curated sets of models that people might care about. And what you can do is upload an agreement. It'll go and find stuff. While we let that process, you could also try one of our sample contracts here. I could just click on sample documents, finance, rev ops, privacy terms, and this will give you a good sense of what kind of results you're going to see out of our software.
So the sample document, that's really a demo for people who want to see how
it's a demo, and it's really Here you can see different provisions that the software has found. So you can see we really have given you quite a lot for the price of nothing. So if you feel like seeing, does the customer grant, permitted use of data? It can be a pretty important clause, right? What you can do is you can go and find that, and it will sort of go and find things like this here on page 12, which is that you agree that they may transmit to the extent necessary and for the sole purpose of enabling Intraway to perform its obligations under the SaaS agreement. So Intraway can't go and like sell that information or something like that. It's just done this completely automatically and completely free.
That's remarkable, really, because you're allowing people to effectively use an entire pre-trained model on their agreements without paying anything. And who are the people that you would imagine coming in and using not the sample documents, but actually uploading documents and using this free Zuva widget?
Yeah, so I think the sample documents are only really going to be useful if you care about what Zuva does. But I think most of the people we anticipate using this are going to be people who need to find things in their contracts. So there's a ton of people right now who use contract analysis software. I think there's a lot more people who might get benefit from this type of technology if they had access to it. And it couldn't be easier to access this version of the technology. It's literally free. You don't have to create a login or give a credit card or anything like that. You just come to the website and upload your document. Also, you don't need to learn a new interface. I think I've showed you here, like you literally upload your document and you get results out. Like it could not be simpler. So we think we've really dropped the barriers to entry for contract analysis software. But anyone who uses contract needs to find things in contracts, whether that's like you as an individual at a company who's trying to figure out what their employment agreements say about something like non-disparagement. They can find that right away and they can do it for free without having to learn a new piece of technology. So we think this is built for people who need to know information in contracts. And I think almost all of us at all points in time need to know things that are in contracts.
Absolutely. And I like how in your use case list, you specifically referred to RevOps. There was something for finance teams effectively. I could imagine procurement teams potentially using it well. The M&A due diligence is really interesting to me. Potentially, it opens up this type of software to smaller or even solo law firms who previously it's just been inaccessible because of the price.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just even the price. It's that you also need to learn a new piece of technology. You need to kind of sign up for the technology, right? Like these things aren't like you sign up online for them. You go through sales reps. It is just a hurdle. And that said, there are reasons that you should sign up for Kira or Luminance. And one of those is that you can only upload contracts one at a time with this, right? Whereas with Kira, for example, which is the one I know best, you could do bulk uploads. Like at Kira, we had someone running multi-million contract projects through, and like, you're not going to do that with this. Number two, the documents are limited in terms of the number of pages you can put through and the file type.
What's the page number limit?
150 pages, which is pretty good, actually. We really tried to make this be even though it's free, like a good product. Also, in terms of exports, systems like Kira have great export capabilities and great workflow tools built in. This doesn't really have that. You can't even copy and paste one of these results. If you use, one of our paid versions, then you can get that stuff. If you're just trying to find stuff in your contracts, it doesn't have too many limitations. The license agreement is pretty decent, actually, and something that someone could accept. We've really tried to make contract analysis AI just exceptionally accessible. I don't know that you could do much more than we have on that.
Could we see one more use case?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you something else cool that we're able to do with this. And that is we're able to kind of find, not just build all those widgets that I just showed you, but we're also able to build issue specific ones. And we're able to do those really quickly. So here, some people may know a couple of weeks ago, the National Labor Relations Board in the US put down a decision placing restrictions on having non-disparagement and certain confidentiality clauses in a severance agreement. We wrote a blog post, but the cool thing that makes our blog post super unique is we embedded a widget in it. So what you can do here is upload a document. I just uploaded a severance agreement. And what the system's going to do is it goes and finds non-disparagement and confi and a couple other things that people might care about in a severance agreement. And it pulls those pieces of information out and we'll give it to you right here. So here it is. And here's the non-disparagement clause in the severance agreement. If you feel like finding the confidentiality clauses, it's got some stuff on that. And we've embedded this right into our blog post. And it's really useful. Like if you actually care about what a severance agreement says, like both if you're an employee who just got severed, but also if you're a company who has a bunch of severance agreements and you're wondering if they comply with the new rules, you can check them. The other thing that this sort of points to is the news organization or anyone who kind of is putting out a blog post could potentially take our widget and embed it into their site, giving like a whole like really neat interactive experience on their blog post. Like not just you should look out in your contract to see if you have these, but run your contract right now and see if you have these.
That's very interesting, Noah. I may well be coming to speak to you about that at some stage. It's so topical. Do you think that you'll continue to build out this type of widget for other legal developments?
Oh yeah, totally. Like we got another one of these on the go for inflation adjustment pricing clauses. We have another one for non-competes. And actually we've got one other one that we're working on right now that's super topical. We did some research back after Roe v. Wade got overturned into apps that track health data and what their privacy policies in terms of use said. And so we're going to release a version of the widget that allows someone to upload one of those contracts and even see what it says. Yeah, I think like we have great technology for pulling data out of contracts. And if we make it available to people and they get to see how good the technology is, when they or their friends or coworkers or whatever have a problem where they need to find information across a lot of contracts, we think it's very possible that they will do the easy things and sign up for free to use Zuva itself.
Well, Noah, this is fantastic. I mean, it's a remarkable thing to provide to the community. And I'm sure you're right. I think you're giving goodwill out there. And to me, I think that always comes back to you. So well done on this. It is transparent, it's accessible, it's genuinely helping people. I could imagine it helping law students who are entering into contracts for the first time. It's really cool. So thank you so much for being here and sharing it with us and with our audience. It's been a pleasure, as always, to chat.
Thanks so much for giving me some time. If anybody has ideas of things that they would love to see in a widget that would add value to their life, please send along suggestions. Like we really are just trying to be helpful with this.
That's great. Well, you heard it here. Go to the Zuva website, get in contact with Noah. We'll put the URL on the bottom. Noah, hopefully you get a lot of ideas and I can't wait to see how this evolves.
This is something we've been thinking about for years and it's really cool to see it rolling out and hitting our vision as being something that's dead easy to use.